We're now heading north to meet with a people at one with the sea. Badjos have been nomads for many years, but they are now settled along the Indonesian, Malaysian and Philippine coasts. About 500,000 of them live near the ocean, in houses on stilts, leaving behind their lepa, the houseboat. Gathered in small villages installed on the estran, the Badjos continue to link their fate to the ocean, even though they are no longer nomads. The ocean that feeds them and shelters them, bringing the resources they need for such a life, balances over the water and in harmony with its surroundings. Lauda, his father Taudil and his son Audi are going to their village. Located on the southeast of Sulawesi in Indonesia, on Kadalupa Island in the heart of the Wakatobi archipelago, Sempela was created in the 1960s by the Indonesian government in order to settle the Badjo families living along the coasts of this archipelago. Today, just like Lauda and his family, about 1,000 of them have settled down in the village. Sempela, with its wooden walkways and unstable houses, is typical of this kind of village. Even Lauda himself has a hard time evaluating how many there are.
I can't tell for sure, but I think there's at least a dozen villages on stilts in the archipelago alone. It means a couple of hundred villages at least over the whole Sulawesi. Thousands of people belong to the Badjo community. We're all Badjos. We all speak Badjo.
Sempela village is located 1 kilometer away from the shore, in an area that dries out during low tide. However, during high tide, the village seems to float on the sea. The houses built on stilts are connected to each other, making it easy to contact other families. In this village on the water, one learns to swim before knowing how to walk.
The kids go in the water when they're very young. However, they truly learn how to swim when they're around 10 years old. If you can't swim around here, it can quickly become a problem.
Sempela lives to the beat of the fishing activity, the Badjo's only livelihood. Right next to the houses, or a bit further away from the village, an endless stream of pirogues can be seen, throwing and bringing up their nets. Lauda, however, is an apnea fisherman, just like his father was. Only a handful of them continue this ancient tradition. The techniques are passed down from generation to generation, like a secret jealously guarded.
You drop it in the water. You drag it around like this, and the octopus thinks it's a friend. So it gets closer and bam, you harpoon it.
A wild shrimp. That's a good bait. We can catch crabs with this.
The Badjos believe the ocean is home to many gods. They are the ones deciding whether the fishing will be good or bad. In order to attract their benevolence, it's a good idea to speak with the shaman, the middleman between men and gods.
I have a service to ask from you. I'd like good weather on the day I'm leaving. The shaman's important for me. He's the only one who can call upon Bojango to maintain good weather. If it turns bad, we can't fish enough to make a living. Bojango is here to help us and prevent something bad from happening. But if we don't keep the promises we make to him, it can turn against us.
Saya percaya sama Mbok Janggo. Mbok Janggo buat ambil habo di pasar mentari mayo di bangkalen pun sila udah sana minta salam pun apa-apa. Mbok Janggo buat ambil habo di pasar mentari mayo di bangkalen pun sila udah sana minta salam pun apa-apa. Mbok Janggo buat ambil habo di pasar mentari.
It's a habit of mine to make an offering to Bojango because I believe in the spirits of the sea. They look after us, they protect us from illness, they heal us when we're in pain or have a headache. I go see Bojango for all of this. To be a Badjo is to be a man of the sea. I can't live without it, or away from it. It's different from people living on dry land. They're not like us. They don't work on the sea. They don't have the same relationship with the ocean. You can shoot all kinds of fishes with this gun, but especially the ones living among corals. They're hard to catch with nets, but when I dive, I can go where regular fishermen can't. It's an advantage.
The Badjos honor the ocean that feeds and protects them, a free space shared by everyone, without fences or title deeds. To find food, one has only but to dive in areas full of fish, often located near the coral reef surrounding the archipelago. The turquoise water contains an incredible number of multicolored fish. Almost 3,500 species come to find shelter in this warm and shallow area. The environmental impact of Badjo fishermen is limited. They only fish what they need to survive. They free dive, following ancient techniques passed down from generation to generation. Thanks to this, some members of the community, such as Lauda, are able to go down deeply for several minutes.
It's all about the legs trick. If you want to go down properly, you have to make circular movements, like pedaling and pushing with your legs at the same time. I usually dive up to 22 meters deep. I can stay underwater up to 5 minutes, but it's difficult to hold my breath for so long. In our community, I'm seen as a good fisherman. Not all Badjos are able to stay underwater for such a long time. My father was pretty good at it. I hope one day my son will be a good fisherman too.
Lauder continues to dive, whilst his son and father watch over him. He's gathering the fish he needs to feed his family. As the day ends, it's time to head back home. Lauder doesn't need a map or compass. He knows every nook and cranny of the coast, the long shape of a creek, the shape of a hill, or the color of the seabed are his landmarks. Sometimes he leaves the village for several days, hoping for a good catch. But even if he goes away from the village, his knowledge of the coast allows him to always find the way home.
Good job, boys. It's a good catch.
Most of today's catch is shared amongst family and friends. The rest will be sold on the market. The village women take care of that. The market is located on the big island in front of Sempella. It's one of the few opportunities Badjos have to meet people from the land. Lauder thinks both populations are on good terms, but the villagers still perceive the Badjos as nomads, as sea gypsies. On the market, the fish is sold from bottom to top, from the boats to the docks, people from the land dominating people from the sea. A symbol, perhaps? Another characteristic? Only women come.
This is no job for a man. Men fish and women sell what they bring back. And that's a good thing too, since they're not very skilled with money. Accounting is more a girl thing. Then we use the money from the sales to purchase rice, bananas and coconuts to cook.
Although the Badjos still move around to fish, their sedentary life puts a limit on their freedom of yaw. The houses on stilts are like boats standing still. That allows them to keep alive the deep connection they have with the ocean. Their nomadic life is now a fading memory that only the village elders still remember.
Once upon a time, we used to live on boats. Life was much tougher then. Finding something to eat wasn't easy. We followed the fish to be able to eat. We knew where they were, but sometimes we were wrong. And so we had nothing left to eat. It's different today. You can always find something to eat. It's not something you're constantly obsessed about. You find fish everywhere. On the market, your neighbors give you some. I honestly wouldn't wish for anyone to go back to that time. Life is much better today.
By settling down, the Badjos have improved their life conditions. Even the strong rains that come without warning are easier to deal with when living in houses rather than on boats. Located a couple of degrees south of the equator, Sempella adapts its rhythms to the sudden and violent storms. But rain isn't a disaster here, rather a moment to rest. The villagers gather inside the houses to take shelter. Every generation joins in. This moment of peace is an opportunity to relax and talk with the family. The women cook. They prepare the fish for everyone. Privacy doesn't really exist in Badjo houses. They all live together, in a place shaken by the wind and with a floor open to the sea.
This floor is really handy. We can just throw away peelings and fish leftovers. It's easy to clean. And it's also a way for us to feel the sea. Freedom's very important for us. Even though we're living in a village, we feel like nomads. We can leave everything behind and go out at sea. We're happy to live in houses, but if we have to leave Sempiela tomorrow, that won't be an issue. That's what it means to be a badjo, to feel free.
Living with the Badjos in Sempiela is an opportunity to discover a people passionate about the sea. They are ready to make any sacrifice to maintain their connection with it. Their willingness to build their future together with the ocean around them is admirable.